Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. This morning, I'm joined by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose to discuss Ohio's upcoming August special election. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jaden.
So I want to first start out with something that you said back on December 9th of 2021, and you said August special elections generate chronically low turnout because voters aren't expecting an election to occur. This is bad news for the civic health of our state. Interest groups often manipulatively put issues on the ballot in August because they know fewer Ohioans are paying attention. As a result, the side that wins is typically the one that has a vested interest in the passage of the issue. Voters are just as capable of voting on these important issues during the standard primary and general elections. So, what's behind the change in tone?
Yeah, groups that are in opposition to issue one are using that quote from me really out of context. And I stand by what we got done last year to eliminate August special elections as a regular order of business happening every August for school districts and park districts and sewer districts and all kinds of local levies. It was a good thing that we eliminated August special elections each and every August, because they had been used in the past in a bad way. And those kind of matters are to me, the kind of thing that can wait for either a November general election or a spring primary election. Now, that's very different from the state legislature using the authority that they have to have an August special election to consider a constitutional amendment. Here's a couple of things that make that really different. First of all, this is not going to be a secret to anybody. It'll be well known. Reporters like yourself are covering it. There's probably going to be groups spending money on television ads. We're going to be running ads in newspapers all throughout the state and sharing information as the law requires us to do to notify the people of Ohio that there's an August special election. So unlike a local school district levy or a local park district levy that may tend to fly below the radar, a special election for a constitutional amendment is going to be well publicized and well known. Now, I was in favor of trying to get this done sooner. I was proposing last year that we put this constitutional amendment on the May ballot. We just completed the May election. In fact, the boards of elections have been doing their post-election audits and all of that as we speak. And I, for one, thought that it would have been a better thing to get it done in May. The state legislature didn't get it done then. And so they used the authority that they have to do this in August. People have also misquoted the price of this. It costs money to run elections. We know that. The boards of elections operate very efficiently, and they do their best to be great stewards of our tax dollars. But the cost of this is somewhere between 10 and 15 million, not some of these astronomical figures that others have stated. And so, again, my take is that we're good at running elections. Ohio's elections officials are ready to go to run another free and fair election for the people of Ohio. That's what will occur between now and August 8th. And the issue that's on the ballot is the thing that I prefer to focus on, because I think this is a really important opportunity for Ohioans to stand up and vote yes on issue one.
And you mentioned that advertisements will be run during this time. But the thing about August special elections in general is most people aren't even in the headspace of thinking about voting. And on top of that, there are oftentimes other things that are happening, vacations, getting the kids back to school. So in terms of that, does that still make this a great time to do this right now?
Well, the good news for Ohioans is that we've got a lot of choices, and we've talked about this before. So there's no excuse for missing an election in Ohio because of how convenient we make it. So for overseas and military voters, we'll start sending out absentee ballots in just a couple weeks. For the rest of us that are here in Ohio, there's 4 weeks of absentee voting. And what a convenient way to just sort of vote from your own kitchen table. Probably takes you 5 minutes to do and drop it in your mailbox. So there's no reason not to do that. Early voting will continue. We'll have the same evening hours, weekend hours, all of those same convenient early voting hours. And then, of course, if you want to wait until August 8th, there will be election day. So yeah, a lot of people travel. They're getting ready to send their kids back to school. They're doing all the things that we do on a beautiful day in the summer here in Ohio. But there's plenty of opportunities to cast your ballot. And that's why I'm trying to get the word out to remind people how easy it is. I want to see the turnout in this as high as humanly possible. And so we're working to encourage people to cast their ballot because of how important it is to protect our Constitution with a yes vote on issue one.
So you don't believe this is going to be confusing for voters?
No, not whatsoever. There's going to be one issue on your ballot. It's a very important and packed issue. It asks the people of Ohio, do they want to amend their state constitution? And there will be plenty of opportunities to vote for early voting and absentee voting. And that's why this is the democratic process, right? This is that opportunity for people to make their voice heard on something truly impactful. And there will be a lot of opportunities to do so between now and August 8th.
And as you probably know, there has been a lot of talk about special interest groups and their role in possibly swaying voters, which is why one of the reasons why this is happening right now. So how would it be possible that special interest groups may play a role in elections?
Yeah, so what happens too often is that a group that has some cause that they believe in, some idea that they want to get done, or maybe even a business interest, in some cases, groups like what the casinos did, are trying to change the Constitution to create an opportunity for themselves to make money. They circulate some signatures, circulate some petitions, and get some signatures to try to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot. And this is where I've always had a concern about this. This goes back to like 7th grade civics class. Constitutions, the Constitution, whether it's the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of the state of Ohio, it's the founding document of your state or of your nation. It's meant to lay out the fundamental aspects of how do you govern yourself with 3 branches of government and separation of powers and how a bill becomes a law and what powers the executive branch has and which powers the legislative branch has. Constitutions are important to do that. But the other thing that constitutions do is lay out fundamental rights like freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, keeping and bearing arms, all of the things that we know are sort of fundamental American and Ohioan rights. When it gets into things like casinos or marijuana or abortion or prescription drug prices or raising the minimum wage, those may be important causes, and some people may love them, some people may hate them, but they don't belong in a constitution. They belong in the law through the legislative process or the citizen-initiated statute process, which gives the citizens the ability to change the law of the state, but they shouldn't be in the Constitution. So what my goal is to raise the bar, to elevate the bar for constitutional amendments so that we don't have special interest groups pouring in millions of dollars to come to Ohio and put their pet project into our state's founding document. To me, it's gone too far. Consider this, Jaden. The state constitution of Ohio has nearly 70,000 words. It's been amended like over 150 times. The U.S. Constitution, by contrast, has 7,000 words and has only been amended 27 times because it takes 75% of the states to ratify an amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The state constitution, by comparison, is far too easy to amend, and it has been abused over the years. Most states have a higher bar. Ohio is really an outlier in that we make it far too easy to amend our Constitution, and people have taken advantage of that over the years. And issue 1, a yes vote on issue 1, is a chance to put a stop to that.
And 2 lawsuits have been filed regarding this election, and one of them was questioning the legality of it due to the fact that the General Assembly passed a law in December 2022 banning them, with, of course, the exceptions of filling vacant seats and voting on tax levies. And then there was that second lawsuit about the ballot language, which claims that it's misleading by not specifying the 60% as a change from the 50%. So do you see these being issues?
Well, I got to be careful about not commenting on pending legal matters because I end up, as the Secretary of State, being the defendant in those lawsuits. I'm confident that what the legislature did was appropriate, and I'm confident that what the ballot board did was appropriate, and I'm going to leave it to the lawyers to argue some of these finite questions about that. But I will say this, groups that can't get done what they want to get done at the State House often run to the courthouse. It's tried and true, or, it's a tactic that we've seen over and over again. And we're going to defend what the state legislature passed, and we're going to defend what the ballot board passed because we believe that they're both lawful.
And of course, as you mentioned earlier, there's a price to doing this. You said $10 to $15 million is the figure that you're seeing. So isn't it kind of, because of the amount of money that's going to be spent here, is this something that should have been done at a different time where it wouldn't have been as costly?
Again, it costs money to run elections. We know that. Ohio runs elections really well. and really thoroughly, and we do it very efficiently. And that's why, we're putting out the call for people to sign up to be poll workers. Heck, just a couple of days ago, I challenged the members of the legislature, our state senators and our state representatives, to sign up to be elections officials, to be poll workers, the folks that actually check you in at your polling location, give you your ballot, give you your I voted sticker. My hope is that the members of the state legislature will lead by example, themselves signing up to be poll workers, and it'll be a good learning experience for them to understand the nuts and bolts of how elections administration really works. We're working with the legislature to make sure that the counties are given the kind of financial assistance they need to do that. We had an August special election last year statewide. Cost about $12 million. I think we can get it done for a similar number this year. And again, they'll operate as efficiently as they can because that's what we do year in and year out. But it does cost money to run elections. That's a normal part of doing business.
And one final thing I want to cover once more before we conclude the interview is, of course, publicizing this election. So how will your office be ensuring that every community and every corner of the state is well informed that this election is going to be happening so they can make their voice heard?
So part of the responsibility is mine. Part of the responsibility is the rest of us as well. Yourself as a reporter, you're doing a great thing by helping to get the word out about this. We are required by law to share information with the voters. We publish things not only on our website, but in other venues as well. We've got some funding to do that. We are active on social media, making sure that the word is out there about how to vote and how easy it is to vote. We work to notify our overseas and military personnel through our what's called UACAVA voting to get the word out, because as I said, that's going to be coming up here very soon, that folks are voting overseas and our military voters. And one of the great resources that we have is our website, voteohio.gov. In fact, voteohio.gov is that one-stop shop where you can get registered to vote. If you're not already registered, there's still time to get registered. It takes about 2 minutes to do. You can sign up to be a poll worker if you want to be part of the team that actually runs this election at voteohio.gov. And it's where you can go to print off the form or find out how to get a form to request your absentee ballot. And now's the time to do that. You can actually put in your request right now for the absentee ballot. And that way, in mid-July, when those ballots start getting mailed out, you'll be among the first to get one. You'll get it at your home. You'll take 2 or 3 minutes to fill it out, and you'll drop it in the mail, and then you will have done your civic duty to make your voice heard in this election. So voteohio.gov is a great resource, and I would invite your viewers to check that out for really all they need to know to be an informed voter here in Ohio.
Well, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Jaden. Take care.
Thank you. And that's this week's Community Focus. Have a great week.